Welcome back to Nets Republic. I'm your host, Sever the Bond. I am exhausted, and I will be exhausted tomorrow night as well because we're on this West Coast trip, and that means that it's a bunch of late games, but that's, just life. Being a fan of an NBA team, your team is going to go to a part of the country that is a different time zone than you, and you're going to end up having to stay up a little later. Well, you normally have to. I guess that's only a East Coast problem because I don't think the West Coast teams, I feel like the West Coast teams, when they play us, their games are earlier in the day, I think that's how that works. So that's just what happens when you're a fan of an Eastern Conference team. You know, there'll be a West Coast swing and you'll be up until 1 o'clock in the morning when you got to work. But, that it is what it is. I could get on here and I could, do the whole, oh my God, it's Russell Crowe thing. We can acknowledge the fact that we were playing a team that only had DeAndre Ayton, basically. There was no Devin Booker. There was no Chris Paul, and yet we still lost the game. We could talk about how they yet again wasted our time, and they will continue to do so because I'm sure I'm not the only one that has to work in the morning. But we stayed up for that, right? We're all going to be zombies at work tomorrow, and we stayed up for that train wreck. I'll say shout out to Cam Thomas because Cam Thomas kept us afloat, sort of, during some pretty terrible times where we honestly could have been down 40 points, but we were only down 20 because of the heroics of Cam Thomas, which was rewarded with no fourth quarter minutes. I'm not really sure what Joe Harris has on Jacques Vaughn to have him still starting games and still getting closing minutes. Again, I can see with Seth Curry. Seth Curry might not be able to play any defense, but at least he has a pulse offensively. Joe Harris is just so terrible. I mean, the turnovers, the missed shots. I don't know what Joe Harris brings positively to the team exactly outside of diversity and inclusion. That guy is playing so horrible. It's laughable. But as I said last video, we don't have enough time to really get into it because there's just so many other headlines to get to. Let's start with Benjamin Button Simmons. Ben Simmons contributed 7 points, 5 fouls, and was ejected, I believe, in the beginning of the third quarter. It really doesn't matter when it happened, but I guess it does. Was the beginning of the third quarter, I think, either the beginning of the third quarter or the end of the second quarter. It's all blurring me. I'm half awake. I don't even know how I'm doing this video. Like, the spirit of being a hater is just flowing through me and is just making the verbal moves for me because I'm half asleep right now. But Ben Simmons fouled out. Sorry, didn't foul out. He got his 5th foul and then complained about it and got a tech. Then he complained a little more and got a second immediate tech and was thrown out. You could get on to Ben and say that it's inexcusable and that we need him in times like this. But I mean, what was Ben Simmons contributing exactly to where the absence of him was a big deal? Like, I'm really at that point with him. Like, it's not even worth me ranting or getting mad about him getting ejected from the game. Because do we need him? What does he do? I couldn't tell you. He's trash. So I'm not even on that tip. I continue to say he's useless. I continue to say he's a bum. I continue to say that we need to trade him as soon as possible because he gives us nothing. So much so that him being ejected from a game has no reaction from me. Because whether he's playing or not, doesn't matter. He's not going to contribute. He gave us the same amount of defensive effort from the locker room than he did on the floor. Dude is worthless. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, that's so rough. But the last couple games, I feel like it's been more than apparent that Ben Simmons is just worthless. But tonight, man, some of those Ben supporters, y'all just sound silly now. Like, it's not even like I'm verbally chastising you. You just sound silly at this point. How can you defend this? I'm not a religious man, but hey, I'll pray for you at that. That's all I can do. But that's the tale of Ben Simmons. That's why he was unable to really give us anything in this game. Kyrie was throwing up breaks until the fourth quarter, where he went nuclear and went to Karis LeVert offensive land and never really came back. He just started scoring. He was going nuclear, and it was looking like Kyrie was going to try and will us back, like a certain superstar we had in a very similar instance against the Phoenix Suns. Because every time we play the Suns, it's kind of the same story. We're getting assassinated in the first half, but then we have some type of a miracle comeback, or the game is really close, or we just get blown out. But I venture to say that the majority of the time that we face the Suns on their home court, it's always some form of a thriller. And the last time we had a miracle comeback, we had Harden, and Harden was able to, by himself, I might add, bring us all the way back to get the dub. Kyrie was unable to do so because Kyrie Irving is not that guy. And I think it's great that he tried, and I'll never get mad at someone for trying. I appreciate the effort, and I'm here for it because, again, I don't hold Kyrie to the same standard that a lot of y'all do, so I don't get disappointed by his shortcomings. He's not that guy, so he wasn't able to pull it out. Did he hit some really cool shots? Absolutely. That clear sidestep travel that ended up to be a contested three to make it a three-point game was really, really cool. Shout out to him. I'm not going to get mad at Claxton for missing the foul shots because, again, we're getting into those territories of asking things from certain players that really shouldn't be the case. We shouldn't have been in that situation to begin with, so we can't pin that on Claxton. The only thing I will say is, why did he take that corner three? What was up with that? But we'll let, because if he made it, you know, right? If he made it, but, you know. I have no ill will towards Clax. Some people will try to blame it on him. I call you a casual for that because that's not his job. That is not his job. Whatever Claxton is able to give us at all, we will definitely take. The blocks are amazing. The general defense, even though he was getting scored on a lot tonight, but he didn't get into foul trouble, so I can applaud him for that much. We appreciate that very much so. Again, Cam Thomas played really, really well. I'm not sure what Joe Harris is doing to earn starting minutes, but I don't see why we don't just experiment with seeing Cam Thomas in the starting lineup. Why not? What more can go wrong? For some reason, TJ Warren didn't really play many minutes. I don't know if he got hurt or something, but he didn't really get many minutes. Maybe he's tired. Save him for next game. I don't know. Something we also need to keep an eye on is, assuming our next game is tomorrow against the Jazz, be prepared for load management from either Kyrie Irving or Ben Simmons. So let's just go ahead and brace ourselves for that, because even though we are in a downward spiral, it's the sense of urgency just isn't there to put your foot on the gas. I want to revisit, before we look towards our future games, I want to revisit a quote from Kyrie Irving because it's been circulating a little bit, and I think we need to bring it back up just once more. The first game, Kevin Durant goes down, and we get assassinated by the Celtics. It was brought up post-game, asking Kyrie the question, what's the difference between this year and last year? Kyrie took his shots at Harden, said that he's now available, and it will not be the same thing. Kyrie, I know it's only been a few days, but my guy, we have lost 4 consecutive games to 3 really bad teams and arguably the best team in the league. So, you know, I'll give you a pass on the Celtic game. The Celtics are really, really good. So much so that I'm actually a little bit afraid of them. I'm not gonna lie. I know I shouldn't be saying that out loud, but I'm not gonna lie, the Celtics are pretty good. I caught the tail end of the game because I didn't know that, you know, it went from TNT to NBA TV. So I missed a little bit of the first quarter because I was watching the end of the Celtics-Warriors game. My God, the Celtics are good. A little bit worried about that, but that's not here. Maybe someone else will take them out before we get there. But where was I going with that? Oh, yeah. So I excused the Celtic game. We probably would have lost regardless. But OKC, the Spurs, and a Phoenix Suns team that has lost, was it 4 or 5 games in a row? How many games in a row was it? They were just all the way down the Western Conference. But of course, you play the Nets and, you know, it's time to get a dub. That's beyond concerning. Kyrie, this is exactly the same situation. The only difference is there's no one else out there for you to hide behind, so you can't put the blame on James Harden. It is just all you. You can't really point the finger at Ben Simmons because Ben Simmons, as we've established, is incapable of scoring. So this is the best we're able to get from him. Yes, him being ejected from the game in the third quarter is the best any form of anything that we'll get from Ben Simmons. So you can't really say, oh, but Ben Simmons isn't helping me. If you're really that guy, you can push us past the Spurs. You can push us past Oklahoma City. You can push us past a struggling Phoenix Suns, especially without Chris Paul and Devin Booker. There is just no excuse for us to have lost these 3 games. Again, the Celtic one, I'll give you that. They're really, really good. But last 3, there's just no excuse. Let's look forward to the games we have, because I don't want to make this video too long, because even though y'all will probably be watching it in the morning, keep in mind it's 1 o'clock in the morning right now. I am exhausted. I want to go to bed. So I won't make this the normal 20 minutes or so, because I just want to go to bed. So let's look forward to the next game we have. That is going to be tomorrow. Against the 24-24 at 500 exactly Utah Jazz. That game is going to be at 9 o'clock, so not quite as late, but indeed a late game. That is basically tonight. I would say tomorrow, but it's already Friday, so that's basically tonight. Do I expect us to win? Absolutely not. Marketing's probably going to have 85. Again, be prepared for someone to be on load management, be it Kyrie or Ben Simmons' feelings are hurt, so he can't play. And that's not a shot at his depression, by the way. That's just me saying he got flustered and was thrown out, so his feelings were hurt. You feel me? Hurt on the injury list. You feel me? Okay, cool. I don't really have much else to say. I just want to go to bed. So my bad for cheating y'all out of the normal entertaining video. I'm just really tired and I got to be to work in like 7 hours. So I will see y'all tonight, I guess, to see what happens with the game against the Jazz, I suppose. Let's try to have fun with this. If anyone listens to Trippie Redd, he just dropped Mansion music. So if at any time before the game you get a chance to listen to it, that's your homework assignment. Go listen to Trippie Redd's Mansion music. And at the end of the video, after I'm done screaming about how the Nets are trash, we will do a mini review of Mansion music. Just to give us something to do while they're losing. So a little homework assignment for you. Go listen to Trippie Redd. We'll talk about it at the end of next video. I am Sever the Bond. You are on Nets Republic. The Nets are garbage. Kevin Durant is clearly the MVP. Ben Simmons needs to be traded immediately. Y'all left some great suggestions of who we could trade him for. Hopefully Sean Marks is reading the comment section of this. He was at the game. You feel me? He was at the game. So, you know, hopefully he's reading the comments of these videos because y'all named some great individuals. And last but not least, Kyrie Irving is not that guy. See y'all later today. I'm going to bed. Bye.